welcome back to the 8th concession. My name is Natalie. Well, today is soup day. I love soup, I love making soup, and I make several different kinds from scratch. This one is one of my favorites, and it's Italian wedding soup. Now, there was a restaurant in town that served Italian wedding soup as part of its menu, and I used to go there, it was like an appetizer, and I would go there and I just wanted to have bowls and bowls of the soup. I didn't want the entrees. So when everything closed down and locked down, I was very sad that I wasn't going to get my favorite soup. So I searched to find a replica of that soup, and with making a few modifications to some that I found online, I have created my own version of Italian wedding soup that is very close to the one that I really craved at the restaurant. So today is the day. I'm going to make my version of Italian wedding soup. So the first thing I have to do is to make the little meatballs. Now, Italian wedding soup is not traditionally from Italian weddings. The name actually translates to mean married soup, and that was because the recipe marries some greens, in this case spinach, and some meat. And in my case, I'm going to make beef meatballs. Now, there are lots of different variations of this recipe. You can use a combination of meats. You can use sausage in the soup. Oh, that's my oven preheating. And you can use different greens other than spinach, but I like the taste of spinach. And you can add more vegetables than I add to my soup because I traditionally only put in spinach. Now you can add carrots, celery, onions if you like. But for this soup, I like just the clear broth, the spinach, and the little meatballs, and the pasta. So first step is to make the meatballs, and I'm going to use our ground beef. Now we buy our beef from a butcher. We buy our beef half a cow at a time, which I split with my married son and his family. So I guess technically I have a quarter of a cow. That's why my beef is in these little bags. So I am going to first make the meatballs. So to the ground beef mix, I am going to add some of my spice mix, which I put together myself. It is just a mix of paprika, cayenne, salt, pepper. Oh, I forget what else is in there. I think there's a bit of garlic and onion in there as well. Now to that I am going to add more garlic. This is an Italian recipe after all, so I'm going to add some garlic powder, some onion powder, and then I'm going to add some Italian seasoning. There are different herbs in here, oregano and such. Probably a bit more parsley, an egg, and some breadcrumbs. And I'm gonna shape them into little balls and bake them in the oven. Into a 350 degree oven for, well, they're pretty small, maybe 10 to 15 minutes. And while our meatballs are cooking, we're gonna get ready to start the broth. So I use 3 cartons because I'm gonna make a big pot. I use 3 cartons of regular chicken broth. So that's the first thing I add. If you have homemade, all the better. Now that's about a third of the pot, third of the way up the pot. Yeah, not quite half. So to the 3 cartons of chicken broth, I'm also going to add 6 cups of water. I've already added 4. That makes 6. That's given me about 2/3 full of a pot. And to that I'm going to add a chicken bouillon cube. Now, the reason I just didn't add more chicken broth is because the chicken bouillon cubes actually have other spices in them. It gives it just a little more flavor. So I'm going to put that in as well. Turn that on. Oops, bring that to a boil. Making a mess already. So while the broth is coming to a boil and the meatballs are baking in the oven, I am going to chop up the spinach. Now I buy 1 container, so this is 142 grams, 5 ounces of pre-washed baby spinach. So I'm going to give them a nice chop so they're nice bite-sized pieces, ready to go in the soup. Well, our broth has come to a boil. We're going to turn it down to simmer and add our spinach. Our meatballs are also done, so we're going to take them out of the oven. And we're going to add them to the pot as well. And we're also going to add a teaspoon of garlic powder. Now we're just going to let that simmer for maybe half an hour on low. And some salt, maybe about a teaspoonful. I usually do it by eye, so. And some fresh ground pepper. Then we're going to let it simmer for 20 to 30 minutes. Our water's boiling. It's time to cook our pasta. I like to cook the pasta separately from the soup so that when it absorbs the liquid, it's not absorbing the broth. Now, the pasta used for Italian wedding soup is usually this one, acini di pepe. They're just little tiny knobs of pasta. Now you can use as little or as much as you want for your soup. We really like a thick pasta soup. I'm actually going to use the whole box, but you can use half a box, 3/4 of a box. A lot of people might not like how much pasta is in their soup with doing a full box, but that's the way we like it. Okay, we're going to let this cook, and then when it's all nice and done, we are going to add it to our soup. So you can see that our pasta is fully cooked. I'm just going to scoop it right into the soup pot. I'm a little worried about dumping the whole pot as I don't want it all to splash up. You can see I wasn't kidding when I said we like a lot of noodles. You do not have to put in this many, but for us, we like this much. And I think I can just pour the rest in now. Our soup is ready. There you go, delicious homemade Italian wedding soup. So thanks for joining me in the kitchen today. I hope you give this recipe a try. It is truly delicious. Bye for now.